With a yo-ho-ho, it's Tale of the Toaster. I hope you enjoyed Let's Play Sonic Lost World. And Thomas and Friends steaming around Sodor. And Masterful Justice Chronicles. As much as you could anyway. So in an update video, your first question might be, where have you been, Tale? Are you dead? Well, actually I did die. No, I'm having a laugh. I've just had a lot of assignments to write for university and other video commitments on challenges approaching. I've still got an exam coming up, so my activity certainly isn't going to be as good as it was in the days of Let's Play Super Smash Bros. Brawl Adventure Mode, the Subspace Emissary Very Hard 100% run. But the main bulk of work is done now. Another thing that stopped me from making videos, well, the absolute main passion in my life, Robot Wars, is coming back to TV this year. I went all the way to Scotland to attend the filming, and I've been regularly working on the Robot Wars wiki in the meantime, because there's so much hype. Plus BattleBots hype, that's coming on TV in America in a month. But if you can get BBC Two on your TV, you will watch the new series of Robot Wars. My Twitter will make sure of it. I guess the other aspect is just the fact I don't live alone. That's obviously a good thing. It's great living with my girlfriend, but when you've got company 100% of the time, it doesn't always spring to your mind to say, right, shut up now, I'm off to go make a Let's Play, or, oi, get out of bed, I'm recording now. Even though my desire to make the videos hasn't dwindled. But if you want some examples of videos that I have been in lately, there's a link to some challenges approaching countdowns in the description, and a link to Smash Masters 2, an online Smash 4 tournament where I appeared as a player and a commentator. And on the topic of challenges approaching and Smash 4 tournaments, the Challenges Approaching Smash 4 tournament has been my biggest editing focus of late. I put my own spin on it, like the Grand Brawl of old, so it's taken a lot of work, but episode 1 just went up this week, so there's a link to that too. But back to my own channel, it's new project time, so I need some input. Originally I had a game in mind for what I wanted to cover after Sonic Lost World, but I've decided to postpone it for now and ask for your thoughts. The game I was going to cover next is Final Fantasy Fables Chocobo Tales. It's a really fun Final Fantasy spin-off for the DS, which is heavily overlooked by the Final Fantasy fanbase, most likely because the game has a younger target audience. You play as a Chocobo on a quest to save people who are trapped inside books, and gameplay consists either of fun minigames based on fairy tales or card-based RPG battles. It's aimed at children, but some side stuff relating to the main story isn't afraid to get quite dark, and the game's pretty challenging. I enjoy the game. It's not my favourite game or anything, it's actually 43rd on my favourite games list, but the game needs publicity, so this was what I had in mind for my next project. However, there's 3 main problems that could happen with the project, so let me go over those. Number 1 is that the game's not particularly fresh in my mind, and some of the minigames took me a lot of tries to complete on the hardest difficulty back when I first played the game, so I'd need a bit of time to practice those and refresh myself with the game. Number 2 is that the card battles are infrequent throughout the game, but they make up the main boss battles of the game, and they're bloody hard. The battle system rewards you for thinking fast and punishes you for thinking slowly, and there's a lot to consider with each move, so basically I'd need to think faster than I can talk, and I usually fail each of these battles several times before I can beat them even at full concentration. So what that means is I'd need to post-commentate all of the battles. And number 3, I don't actually know that much about Final Fantasy. I've obviously learned a bit through this game, and I've played the first 2 hours of Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy Chocobo's Dungeon. I've watched Advent Children, and I've learned other miscellaneous bits and pieces from Mario Slam Basketball and Super Smash Bros. But on the whole, I can't provide much information about the Final Fantasy series. Some people might find this alright and think, come on, you teach me about Chocobo Tales and I'll teach you about where all this stuff originated. but I worry that for some of you, my lack of knowledge about Final Fantasy when let's playing a Final Fantasy game might prove annoying. So, as you can see, there'd need to be a lot of time invested to get this project going, and if I decide to start it, I'd want to be able to finish it without any hitches or the viewer base quickly disappearing. So I want to ask you now, considering those points I mentioned and your own level of interest in Chocobo Tales, is this a game you'd like to see me cover on the channel? If you're all up for it, then it should be LP number 9. If you don't think the game is worth covering, I'd much prefer you tell me now with honesty, because I wouldn't want to see those of you who are disinterested stay silent now and then suddenly I've put loads of effort into a project for no one to watch it. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Now, as for what's next, I think it will come as no surprise. I'm intending to cover the whole Inazuma 11 series on my channel, but I do like to space out each game with a few other LPs in between to appeal to my fans who don't care for the series. Though with Chocobo Tales being postponed, it's obviously going to be Inazuma 11 2 up next. Not all of you wanted to watch the original Inazuma, or weren't convinced by the game when I finished it, but in my opinion Inazuma 11 2 is a much better game, which actually tries to have a story and more characters than just Mark, Axel, Jude, Jack, Todd and the girls. The setup for the story of Inazuma 2 is incredibly corny and you'll all roll your eyes as soon as you hear it, but I promise it's like that for a reason and the game and its story are good. It's no Spike Chunsoft story, but it gives you stuff to think about, and I'd like it if you gave the series a try. Yeah, that's another thing that got in the way of video making. Spike Chunsoft, Virtue's Last Reward and Danganronpa are both absolutely amazing. So that's all I needed to say about my own channel. Check the description for links to projects I've been involved with, and I'll hope to see you in Let's Play Inazuma 11 2 Firestorm. TTFN.